Hey guys, it's Cassandra at Beads to Live By, who just realized she had a tiny bit of Altoid left and hadn't taken care of that before she hit the go live button on StreamYard. How's everybody doing tonight? I know I'm a few minutes early. I just wanted to start the broadcast so I could chit chat and talk about fun stuff before everybody expects the project to go, into full swing. But I really appreciate everyone who checks out this video, even if you aren't live with us when you watch it after the fact. If you have questions and any supply needs, you can always head to our website at beadstoliveby.com. And that is where we have many, if not all of the supplies we are sharing here with you. And there's contact forms there where you can send us a message. And you can also always find us on Facebook Messenger as well at Beads to Live By. But it's kind of a lengthy supply list tonight. The project is on your second screen here. And I just started throwing the kitchen sink into this bracelet because I kept finding all these fun things I wanted to add as I created this little fringy kind of, it's almost like a charm bracelet. I do a lot of things that I refer to as charm bracelets, but this is a stitching technique using stop beads along with some other kind of creative ways to add check glass and various shapes and sizes and even with multiple holes so that you can really kind of bust your stash open a little bit. That was kind of my goal. Was we have so many cool and unique shapes and designs of beads on the website and in our store that I wanted people to get a feel for, like all the ways that you could use different beads in this project, even if you don't go ahead and use everything I suggest. I don't know if that makes sense, but obviously the more beads you want to purchase and use, the better. But this is more of like you could incorporate so many things here. So here are all the ideas, and then you make it your own and kind of go for it with what you have on hand or what you would like to purchase and put together. So if you are out there watching us on YouTube, we're not on Facebook anymore, or not right now, not in this video, just go ahead and drop a comment and let me know that you're there so that I can say hi and that I know the comments are working. But let's go over the supplies a little bit. In your, I'll show you in the sample first because I think it's really helpful to see where things are going to sit. I think that helps people to kind of envision how to choose beads for a project. So in your, try something different, look at the screen while I'm talking about this, in the core of your bracelet. So that's what we'll call this row of, those are size 4mm fire polish and size 6 seed beads. And we'll start by stringing just every other bead with those two types of beads down what will be the center of our bracelet. And then we will come back through and make our fringe or our little charm additions by using our size 11 and 8 seed beads and various ways to create these attachments. So we've got even some size 6s coming out of there just because, they're already in the bracelet. You might as well throw them in other places. This is our little Piggy bead that we love so much, and I've got a fun color tonight for my sample. Aw, awesome, Patty. I'm glad I could keep you company. These nautical charms are all available on our website, and I like to call focal glass beads charms because I think that they just, kind of work that way so well. But the little wheels are available in around 8 colors, I think. We've got 4 colors of these gorgeous shells, and that's been one that we've been carrying for quite a while. All of these were available on our Etsy store, and then we have finally migrated them over to the website. And then there's one of the little anchor beads. And it's kind of hard to tell on screen, but this color has a really faint kind of mint colored background glass, and then this gorgeous purpley luster finish that's really pretty, which I think actually is like a bronze finish technically, but with these colors, it totally looks like it's got a tint of purple to it. So other beads you can throw in there are anything with a top drill. Hi, Rosalinda. I've got some lentils in this sample, but tonight I'll be working with some pips, PIP beads, some of our favorites. And I think that's about it for what we've got in that original sample. So I just thought those Piggy beads had this like nice shell-like quality to them. And since this is a nautical theme bracelet, I felt like that really fit the, you know, kind of gist of what we were doing with all of those different beads. And then as you'll see in the bracelet we're working on tonight, my example will be using some floral motifs. And again, the Piggy beads really work with that too. So I am really excited to be able to use these more frequently. We were introduced to them years ago, and I did not have as great of an appreciation for them as I do now, that I have a few more colors at my disposal, and you guys have, I think, about 30 colors available on the website to shop from. So you will be able to shop to your heart's content. And I also want to point out that when I'm working with seed bead colors, the fire polish, excuse me, just about anything you see on camera, at least at the time of the filming, I am always trying to use colors and types of beads that like 95% of them you will be able to find on our website. For our in-person customers, a lot of those are available in the store as well. The only exception to that in this circumstance are the Piggy beads, but you can order those for in-store pickup and it's no additional charge if you're local and that's the only thing you're missing from your project other than what you want to shop for in the store. So I just like to give you guys a heads up about that. And you never know, that might change someday. But the way our inventory is right now, it's not continuous with like between our website and our in-store point of sale. There's a lot of separation there, so it's a little harder to bring everything into the shop that we have. But we're trying all sorts of creative ways, including doing little trunk shows with our website inventory. So if you are a Jacksonian or someone near Jackson, Michigan, who is visiting us in person, just keep some of that in mind when you come to the shop, because we do have quite a plentiful selection in the store, but there are a few things that are exclusive on the website. So that is kind of my spiel about the bracelet. I can't wait to share. I'm gonna just move over my tray. I might have to turn it all the way around actually, to share with you the colors that I am using tonight. Oh my gosh, seeing it on screen is even like more exciting. So I hate to say it. First of all, I'm wearing like a burnt orange color. So that is like a color that I truly identify with and love. And anything towards the coral end of reds and oranges and pinks is always like more my thing. So with pinks, I like them to be more red. With red, I like it to be more pink or orange, etc. But I feel like these colors have a little bit of a fall vibe to them. I know, blasphemy, but I have to say it's been like 95-degree heat index in Michigan the last, I don't know, week or more. And we've had a few weeks of that off and on over the last month or two. So I'm not saying I'm ready for snow by any means. I really don't have any like specific love for the snow, but I also don't have any love for extreme heat. And I am okay with kind of getting a little bit of a cool down. So if these colors are like end of summer vibes, that's what I'm going for. Not, we don't want summer to be here, just maybe I'm okay with it being close to being over with. Thank you so much, Rosalinda. I'm really excited about these colors too. I'm gonna get started stringing the center, the core of the bracelet right away, because that's gonna take me a minute and I wanna make sure and get through a portion of that before we start on our little fun fringy stuff. So this fire polish color, I was gonna use something that was like crystally and like brighter, and the maroon kind of shade of what I ended up with, because this is one that's available on the website, is just lovely. So I hope you guys appreciate that combination. And then I also have, if you didn't see my Facebook posts or Instagram post yet today, these tulip beads back on the website. And you'll recognize these from our famous or infamous softflex earrings that are like the big loopy earrings and have little seed beads and fire polish and dangles on them. The tulips were our focal bead for that project. And we have, I think, 8 colors of those listed. So this one really fit what I was going for with my color theme. You also are gonna see some leaves in here, because with floral, why would you not add some leaves? And this is part of that mix that we have listed on the website. So if you go into the Czech glass category and the Czech glass filter on the website, or you could just search leaf or leaves, you'll find this mix. And it's a huge, like, this package is not a full package, and it's not the entirety of what you'll receive with that listing. And they're $15, less than $15 for a whole package. So an incredible deal on that. Of course, you can find like 120 colors or more of the pip beads on the website. So I just threw some of my greens down to help balance out all those like rusty kind of coppery colors. And I don't remember if the size 8s are listed in the muscat color, but a muscat is a type of grape, and I don't know if they have more of an orangey color to them, and that's why that color is called that. But to me, it's a really beautiful, like, coppery kind of rose gold color. So if I don't have that listed, you can always reach out to me and have me individually invoice you for it. But I feel like that would be a color we'd have on the website. The size 11 seed bead I'm working with is the galvanized dark berry, which has turned out to be no surprise based on what I just told you about my love of certain kinds of colors. One of my favorites that I use all the time, I used this in the example for that tile wrap bracelet. If you haven't seen that video, it's a real similar time frame to the one that's airing right now. And the size 6 seed bead that I'm working with there is a matte metallic matte green iris. And this is another fan favorite around our shop. Just a really great kind of versatile color, because it's got so much variation to it. It's not a mix. That's the difference between a mix and like an iris finish or some of these other seed beads. They are, each bead has multiple colors on it. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, and then I've got some of our lily beads in here. And if you wonder what I'm doing, I am just getting some of those 4mm fire polish and size 6 seed beads loaded onto my needle. I am working with a 10-pound wildfire, which is also something that we have listed on the website and is one of our most used and most loved threads. It's just it's a well-bound thread, so the thermal binding on it makes it really smooth, even though it's a 10-pound. There's not a lot of projects that I can't make with that size in this particular brand, and I like that it's so durable and holds up to the Czech glass so well, because that is something that's really important to us. So you know, I'm just picking through these fire polish and they size 6s. But I think I started to say that I've got 2 colors of those lily beads on the tray, and those are something that I am really excited about throwing in here, because we have lots of colors of those, and so that helps you kind of customize the combinations that you're using in your project. So 3 yards of the thread. I am going to use one of our handy dandy stopper bead stoppers. It's from Softflex, and I think this is the larger of the 2 sizes that they offer. If we don't have them listed, we do have them in the shop, but of course you can get those from our friends at Softflex as well if you are already shopping with them for whatever project you're working on. So that is a handy little tool that I don't know what I was doing with my life before I started using them. This might be the first time I've used it with my thread, and I have to say it is working exceptionally well, and I'm very happy about that. So I figured it would, but I have other tricks if it hadn't done exactly what I wanted it to. The other thing I haven't pointed out on my tray, but is there, is a beautiful clasp from our friends at Cast. And although I don't use decorative toggles often or on every bracelet that I make, because I've got my one favorite clasp that I use frequently, with a project like this, I feel like it really needs something to kind of balance out the gorgeous beads that you're using. Like, you want that focal clasp. So that is something that we do have at the shop. That is something I would love to get more of listed on the website, is our Cast offerings, because we carry a lot of their products. But don't ever hesitate if you see something that we're using in the video. It's obviously something that we carry somewhere. You can always reach out and just ask individually about that item. So the middle really will go fairly quickly. You don't have to worry about it dragging on too much. And I am going to cheat and use my original bracelet to determine what length I need to make the new one. But I'm telling you guys, this threads or bead stopper to hold your beads on the thread as a lifesaver, because I will highly recommend that if you're making your first version of this bracelet, that you do this core and then don't finish both ends off immediately. Leave yourself like 16, 18 inches of thread on your tail, like the part that's not attached to your needle, and just leave that there until you have done your core and turned around and started all of like the embellishment of the core. Make sure and leave enough room for your clasp, but your bracelet might shrink up just a touch depending on your tension while you stitch your various glass fringe onto the core. And if that's the case, you really don't want to get stuck with making your bracelet too short by having attached the tail to your clasp ahead of time. That is a definitely one of my like biggest tips for you, is sizing can be so fragile with projects like this, because there's so many other things about it that are so easy. It's just like life, like there always has to be some sticking point, right? So if the sizing is the part that's going to trip you up, why not just give yourself a break and make sure that you have gotten ahead of it. That's what we're going to say. And get a little sip of water. Oh, that feels so much better. All the talking I do when I'm doing videos, I feel like, although it's probably not all necessary. Ooh, I'm probably ready to start my my embellishment. Yay! Oh gosh, and the colors together, it's definitely out of season for me right now, but these center colors are going to not be indicative of the colors of the entire bracelet. So we'll take heart knowing that. My other tip is that you want to attach the loop or open portion of your toggle, not the bar end, first, because if something is going to create a sizing constraint, I think the bar end is that portion. You will need to add enough space at the end that you put the bar on so that it can slide through this, and I think that's just way easier to do if you already have this attached to the one end. So I am attaching this at the needle end of my core right now. And I have to say, I think I'm just going to put a size 8 or 2 of my seed beads on each side of the clasp. So I'll show you. So I've got one size 8 and then the clasp hole and then one more size 8. And then I'm going to go back through that last size 6. Tension might end up being a little tricky on this project, so I also am going to need to add more size 8s. It's going to be different no matter, you know, if you're not using the exact same set of beads and findings as I do in either of these samples, then, you know, there's a lot of trial and error. So I don't want you guys to get frustrated with yourselves or with me, because the whole goal here is to teach you to fish, not just buy you dinner. If I teach you to fish, then you can feed yourself or figure out your bead project for life. But if I just get you one exact formula for one specific bracelet, then it's not as much fun for you in the long run. But that's what we're going to say. I feel like Martha Stewart a little bit tonight. Am I coming off a little Martha-y to anyone else? So I added that second size 8 seed bead on each side of the clasp loop, and I am much happier with that. It covers my thread better. And we're just coming out of the end, you added 2 size 8s, the clasp loop, and 2 more size 8s, and then you came back through that size 6. So this is the last size 6 that we added onto our bracelet, and it's the one that's closest to the needle end of the project. So let's just start with something a little bit smaller to ease into our work. So I am adding 2 size 11s, a size 6, and a size 8. So that's the sequence there on my needle. Sounds kind of silly and mundane, but I promise it will all make sense soon. So those size 11s are what are allowing your other beads to move away enough from your work that they will not pull this, because we're going to go in and out of just the size 6s in the middle in the core. So you've got that size 8 on the end, you're going to skip that and go back through the size 6 seed bead. And once we get that, that's our stop bead. That's the whole like foundation of this project. Once you get that pulled through taut, then you're going to add 2 more size 11s. And let's see here. You're going to go through the size 6. So my plan tonight is to show you guys all of the various techniques I use to add my fringe and my charms. That's your end result with that one. And then once I do that, at least one time with each item or each style of addition, then we will call it a night, and I will do a reel on Instagram or just a real quick video on here as an update with the addition of the last part of the clasp. That way you get the whole enchilada. So I really want to throw these leaves in here, and I think if I add 1 size 11 seed bead on each side, that will work. But let's see what else we have here. There's so many fun options. So the Piggy beads, if you haven't worked with them before, they have 2 holes. It might be kind of hard to see on this super crystally. Let me grab a different color. That's the Capri, I think, is the one I'm actually working with in my project. But here is an example of sorry about that little interruption. Here is an example of the Piggy bead. So this is the concave, no, Yes, that's the concave side, the part that goes in. And the convex side, that color is just as hard to see, those two holes. But the concave side, you can very clearly on that opaque white see those two holes. So one is centered and one is offset. And so we are going to take one size 11 and we're going through either hole, but we're going to go from the side that's rounded out towards the side that's rounded in. And then we're going to add one size 8. And we pull that all the way down to the project. And we're going to go through the second hole, wherever that is, whether it's your offset or your center hole. And after you pull that size 8 down, you want your Piggy bead to be sitting directly against your work. And the last thing you do is add one more size 11, and this is just to cover the thread underneath of your bead. And then, oops, sorry, off camera there. And then you're gonna go through the next size 6. So those size 4s are going to be, get rid of this banner because I feel like it's easier for you guys to see more of the screen this way. And I'll show you on this bracelet too. It's definitely easier to see those Piggy beads with the beads underneath of them. So that's how I did that style. Now my pip beads and my leaves are top drilled. So that will require me to add some form of seed bead and then the top drilled bead and then a seed bead. And I think it's just going to be one size 11 on each side of those leaves, but I'm going to go through my next 6 and then let you guys know how that turned out. How's everybody doing tonight? Patty, if you're eating and don't want to chat, you don't have to type. Rosalinda, it might be dinner time for you or close to it, even though it's 3 hours difference here. I don't know how I'm feeling about that leaf as far as the way I've attached it. I'll leave that one for now, but I'm going to think on if there's any other ways. Well, I don't know. That looks good from a distance. I was zooming in too much. Now, with the really big beads, I had 111 and one size 8. And then I really like leaving flowers hanging like they're upside down off of things. So with that tulip bead, I'm going through that direction, and then I'm going to add one size 11, and that's again going to be the stock bead in this situation. Well, you're a very kind wife to wait for your husband to eat. I like that. Aw, yeah, Rosalinda, you just dealt with COVID again, didn't you? I'm so sorry. I'm pretty good, thanks. Just, you know, plugging along, trying to make sure I keep everybody just in heaps of inspiration. That's my goal. So, this is really looking like yummy, scrumptious fall colors. So I've got the size 11 after I came out of the 6, and then a size 8, the tulip, and then the size 11. And I am going to stick my needle back through the tulip and the size 8. And then I'm going to pull that away from the camera just because it's easier for me to keep my tension. And then one more size 11 before I go through that next size 6. Now, this is an excess amount of thread that we're working with, but you definitely could get through like the whole core of the bracelet if you wanted or needed to reinforce it. Oh, that's so awesome, Rosalinda. I'm a huge fan of you waiting for your husband to come home and cook for you. Oh, thank you so much. Well, it's good to know that my intentions are coming across, the inspiration. So let me look at what I've got going on here with my, well, I think I'm going to add one of these tulips, or not tulips, one of my lilies in here. And I think I'm going to use the same, order of beads that I did with the tulip. So I've got an 11, an 8, a lily, and an 11. Oh, Patty, that sounds fantastic. Are you guys going in your camper? I am missing Northern Michigan right now. Chris and I were up in Traverse City last October, and I would just love to go back up there this summer for a couple of days and just relax a little bit. Sounds really magical. Oh, yep. That lily is everything I wanted here and more. I really feel like the other thing I might do with this project is I might think about going back through and embellishing a second row. So in this bracelet, I only passed from one end to the other and embellished one time that way. But you could go through and do additional embellishments. And you could even go in and out of your 4mm and skip the 6s. I know, just blew your minds. But if I do any of that nonsense, I will definitely make sure and let you guys know exactly what I did and share pictures of the results with you. I mean, I'll share pictures of the results anyways, but if you are not in, I bet I have not made, let's see, we have an awesome Facebook group called Beads in Progress. And if you have not previously joined that, there's like one question just to keep the spam out. There we go. But if you search Beads in Progress, just as it's written there on Facebook, that is where we love to share the projects we're working on and the beads that we're using from the shop. So we've got a whole gaggle of customers in there and friends who are working on classes they've taken with us or with teachers we've hosted, and projects that they've bought beads from us for. And it's just a really fun and inspiring group, very encouraging. You always get great positive feedback from people. So I really enjoy having that little community on the internet. So I think I'm gonna add one of these pips, and then that is exactly all of the techniques that you need to be able to be successful with this project. And it really makes me happy that it takes so few different techniques to create so much interest in a piece, because I think there's lots of times where you have to like do a lot of work to make something more interesting, but with this it's like just easy. So the pip just has one size 11 seed bead on each side of it, and then again just skip that 4mm and go through the 6. But I think I've got too many beads here that I want to work with. I won't be able to avoid doing a second layer on this one, I'm pretty sure. So it'll be really interesting to see how that works up. But if you guys are working on one of these, please share it in the group that is on the screen right now, Beads in Progress on Facebook. Or if you are not on Facebook and you'd like me to share your work with our community, you can always send it to my email, info@beadstoliveby.com, which I guess I should add a banner for that too. Would be helpful. And, you know, this project is just like, or this project, this format is a little new to me. So there's the email. That's new. I took me a minute to get my professional email back up and running because after we changed websites, there was just a whole hosting situation happening. But thank you, Rosalinda. I'm so excited. I guess I should leave that project kind of hanging out there, that mess of beads. But lots of beautiful and interesting colors to go along with all the interesting fringe that you've got going on with that. And I'll flash that supply list one more time for everybody too, because it is kind of involved, and this way you can kind of see what all we use. The optional, or not the optional, the preferred Czech glass that we talk about is like, in this case, the lily and the tulip and the leaves. The leaves would actually fall under the drop category, but in the nautical themed one, it's those nautical, like larger pieces. That's what I'm talking about when I say your preferred Czech glass, because we happen to use pretty chunky ones. Like I think that these tulips are like a 16 millimeter, and the nautical beads are hovering around like 12 millimeters in length. But you could size everything down and not use anything that big if you are not a chunky jewelry person. I will say that when you get just one layer of that embellishment, that, you know, as you can see with the nautical themed one, it's really not terribly chunky looking on because everything's spaced out so nicely. But my floral one might get kind of chunky if I add more than one layer of embellishment. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight, everyone that's live and anyone who's watching after. I hope you enjoy it so much, and I look forward to seeing everything that you're working on with our beads and our projects in our group Beads in Progress. Our next video, I think I just scheduled for Tuesday next week, and I will not try to guess the date. I don't even know what today's date is. I think it's maybe the 21st, but I will be posting that on our social media and in our next email newsletter. So you can always find that information in those places. And then I have been scheduling them ahead of time here on our YouTube channel. So make sure and subscribe. Please share this channel with your friends. Like the posts if you're enjoying the projects, because that really helps us as a small business to grow in the ways that are important. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much again, and I will see you guys soon, including Patty and Rosalinda. Take care. Bye.